Hello, friends. I am the man with no identity. The man formerly known as John Henderson.
Welcome to the Theater of Thrills!
Henry Jekyll has been spending a lot of time in his laboratory. And, for the first time, someone sees that terrible little man.
Just looking at him makes you want to
Hyde. Tonight's episode is another in the series, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now present George Edwards in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
If you're feeling well enough to walk, Henry, I think we'd better go back to the house. Margaret and your mother are terribly anxious about you.
But why?
We all feared that this man Margaret saw may have been up to some sort of devilment and that you were hurt.
Oh, what nonsense. He's a friend of mine. The last one in the world to do me any harm.
Where did you meet him? From what Margaret said, he must be a very unpleasant-looking person. The poor child was frightened into hysteria by the very sight of him.
Oh, that's bad. I'm terribly sorry she saw him. Well, it won't happen again, I promise you.
Then come along and let them see for themselves that you're safe and sound. Margaret came over here to see if you'd go with her to Lord's.
You mean cricket?
Yes.
Oh, I'd almost forgotten the existence of such a thing.
Then it wouldn't do you any harm to remember it. You'll have to get out of the atmosphere of this laboratory of yours, my boy. You're as pale as a ghost. Come along, shut the door after you and forget it for a while.
I will. I said I'd keep on until I'd made the discovery. Now that I have, you'll see me turn into a different person. I'm free now, Father. Free as I've never been before in my whole life. As no man has ever been.
Well, I'm sure I don't quite know why you should say that, but if it means we're going to see something of you and you're going to live a more normal, a happy life, I must say I'm very glad.
Why, it's a lovely day. Quite warm and sunny outside.
Mr. Jekyll, come quickly.
Why, Maud, what's the matter?
Mr. Jekyll, sir, she's had a turn. She's awful bad.
Henry, come quickly. The shock and excitement's been too much for her.
Lie her down flat on the floor, Margaret. Now, take away that cushion. Now loosen the collar of the dress. Father, the hypodermic. It's all right. We'll get her round.
Can I get you anything else?
No. This injection's the only thing. She should rally in a few moments.
Henry, she's lying awfully still. I can't seem to feel her pulse.
Let me try.
Henry. What is it? Why are you looking like that?
Oh, Father. Father.
The breathing stopped.
Henry.
She's dead. She's dead.
Now, if you'll just sign these documents, Henry, that finalizes all the legal side of the matter, and your mother's estate passes to you. Just here, beside that seal. Well, you're now a young man of considerable fortune, Henry. Yes. I had no idea that Mother was so wealthy. It's a big responsibility. You can do a great many things with as much money as that. I hope I'll do good with it, Mr. Utterson. I hope you will. Oh, Mr. Utterson, nearly 2 years ago I spoke to you about Margaret. You told me then that you were not satisfied with the thought of me as a husband. Do you remember? Yes, I remember very well. Have you still got anything against me? Who is this man, Edward Hyde?
Why do you ask about him?
I can't help wondering what you can have to do with such a man.
What do you know about him?
Nothing. I only know what my daughter told me, but her description was enough to rouse all my old doubts and apprehensions. If you have anything in common with such a man, what manner of man are you?
This is too much. Before, you had a legitimate cause for complaint against me. I hold no brief for myself, but you promised me that if I gave up my old ways of life, you'd give me another chance. Have you had anything against me in the past 2 years?
Nothing. Your life has been blameless.
And now you make this man Hyde, whom you know nothing of, an excuse for denying Margaret to me. This is why I've seen so little of her lately, isn't it?
She was very shaken by your mother's death. You know that. She went to stay in the country.
At John Fairley's place. You're hoping she might begin to prefer John, aren't you?
Margaret is free to marry whomsoever she chooses.
That's not true. She chose me years ago. And you've done everything in your power to keep us apart.
Margaret's welfare is my first consideration, Henry. I want nothing but her happiness. I would never go so far as to forbid her to marry you.
But you'll do everything in your power to try and wean her away from me.
I would think that I'd done less than my duty to her if I did anything else.
Mr. Utterson, what have you got against me?
Edward Hyde.
Will you be wanting any supper when you come in, Mr. Henry, sir?
No, thanks, Poole. Oh, by the way, I'm going down to the laboratory for a while. If I'm not in to dinner, don't worry about me.
No, sir.
And don't tell anybody where I am. You understand that? No one at all.
I understand, sir.
I'm thinking of going away for a few days, as a matter of fact. If I'm not here in the morning, you'll know that I've gone.
Yes, sir. Would you like to leave an address for letters or messages?
No, no address. I'm going away to be by myself. Completely by myself.
Yes, sir. A very good idea, sir.
You know, Poole, when you drop your eyes like that and get that bland, expressionless look of stupidity over your face, I realize all over again what a pearl of butlers you are.
I've always endeavored to give satisfaction, sir.
Well, go on. Get away with you down to the servants' quarters and see that none of those maids ever come spying round that outer building. I'll not stand for it, mind.
Oh, sir, I hope there hasn't been any more of that since I dismissed Alice.
No, there hasn't, but it doesn't do any harm to keep reminding them.
I'll remind them, sir. You can rely on me for that. How long do you intend to be away, sir?
I don't know. You can expect me when you see me. Look at the place. Dust and cobwebs over everything. I haven't been here for weeks. Not since the night that Mother died. Why should I think of that? I've come in here to forget it. To forget Henry Jekyll and everything about him. I'm sick to death of him. Let's have a little of Hyde. There's nothing half-hearted about Hyde. He knows what he wants. And there are no regrets. He never weeps or repents. He's made his bargain with the devil, and he pays the price. Let me see now. Here's the tincture. And here are the salts. I must weigh them to the utmost point of accuracy. Wasn't that what you said, Professor? Can you see me now? Are you pleased with your pupil? I haven't failed to keep my promise. In a few more minutes, you will see my other self in all his perfidy. The living, breathing vindication of your death. 1, 2, 3, 4 minims. That's the dose. And now, the crystals start to melt, and the color changes. Crimson, rich and thick, like human blood. Now it brightens and the gases start to rise. It starts to change. It turns to purple. Darker. Darker. And the boiling stops. Now it fades. It turns to green. Palest, coolest green. And nothing remains now but to drink it down. Look in the mirror, Henry Jekyll. Take a last look at your pallid, haunted face. The face that she at one time likened to a saint. Saint! What did they get for their pains but martyrdom and the chill austerity of self-denial and prayers? Is that what you wish for, Henry Jekyll? Don't you prefer the pleasures of the earth to the doubtful rewards of heaven? The laughter and the music and the wine? The red lips of women and the fever of impassioned nights? Drink then, you craven. Why do you hesitate? The agonies that follow will be terrible, but so are the pangs of birth. Come, gulp it down and be reborn as Edward Hyde. Then nothing is denied to you. No matter what foul action you commit, once you assume again the form of Henry Jekyll, you have passed beyond the range of punishment. Close your eyes and nerve yourself and drink. It's done. It's over with. Once more, I've had the courage to go through the agony, and now, in a moment, I'll get up off the floor and look at myself in the mirror. I'll see the form of Edward Hyde, hideous, misshapen, and dwarfed, a sight to chill the very blood of common men. Now, I'm strong enough. Now, I can get up and look. What's this? I see the face of Henry Jekyll. It isn't Hyde. I failed. I've lost the power. Stop. Wait a minute. Think calmly. There's been some slight mistake, that's all. A simple error. I must try again. Oh, that agony, that grinding of the bones, that deadly nausea, the horror of the spirit that cannot be exceeded in the hour of birth or death. No, I can't do it. Not again. I'll not leave this room till I succeed. Oh, how tired. How tired I am. How tired.
Who's there? It's Hugh. Hugh Lanyon. Oh, come out of there and act like a human being, you blithering idiot.
Anybody else but you infernal?
Yes, I know. That's what I told Poole.
Oh, did he let you in? I'll sack him for that.
Splendid. We've anticipated that. I've already engaged him to come to me.
Well, come in. Well, what do you want now you've got me to open the door?
Ah, nice little Bastille you've got here. No risk of unwelcome visitors breaking in with all these bolts and bars. What's the idea?
Tell me, what have you been up to? When did you get back, and where have you been?
I went for a walking tour through Austria and part of Hungary.
Oh,
a great pity you went with me. Never saw such girls. Got there just in time for the summer festivals. I was in my element, old chap.
I'll bet you were. Sit down over there. Tell me all about it.
Thanks.
Do you know, I'd forgotten that people like you still existed.
No wonder. This is a fine, dreary little morgue you've fixed up yourself. Oh, tell me, what's that table over there?
Looks like something out of the dissecting room.
So it is. You see, this whole place used to belong to a famous surgeon before my father bought it. He used to carry out experiments here. Some say vivisection.
No wonder the place brings me out in goose flesh. No windows either on the ground level.
No.
Didn't want anyone peeping in.
And soundproof, too. When I shut that inner door, no sound can get through.
And this is where you've been most of the summer. No wonder you look as pale as a ghost. Come along out of it. We'll take a bus and have a day on the Thames. You know, I'll bet you haven't had an oar in your hand since you left Oxford.
Well, you're quite right there. I haven't.
Then how about it? Listen, we'll hire a punt and get a picnic basket at some nice little country inn and lie out on the grass and eat sandwiches and drink good old English beer.
And you'll tell me all about the buxom peasant wenches you met out in Austria.
Nothing omitted, old boy. Positively nothing.
All right. I'll be with you just as soon as I've changed my clothes. Come over to the house. We'll get the rascally Poole to put us up some food.
There speaks the good old Henry Jekyll.
Hence loathed melancholy. From Cerberus and Blackus, midnight born.
In Stygian cave forlorn, amongst horrid shapes and shrieks and sights unholy.
Stop it! Stop it! What made you say that? What do you mean?
For goodness sake, what's the matter here? Here, I say, don't throttle me.
I'm sorry. I'm awfully sorry, old chap. I don't know what came over me. But those words... Oh, come along, let's get out of this quickly.
Can't be too quick for me, old chap. Oh, dear. Well, how about some more of your father's excellent ale? Where's your glass?
Beside that tuft of grass.
Oh, yes, I see it.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. It's good to lie here with the sun in your face and the smell of warm earth in your nostrils.
You don't know what sunlight is, or how the earth can smell. And you've lain out in the sun at midday in those Austrian valleys.
And at midnight under the moon. How I envy you, Hugh. You can take your pleasures so simply. Just as simply as you swallow that glass of ale.
I haven't noticed you showing any signs of constriction of the gullet.
But I haven't got the capacity for roistering round Europe. I'm too much of a hypocrite, I suppose. I'm afraid of losing somebody's good opinion.
Do you know what's the matter with you?
No.
Margaret Utterson.
What?
You've been trying to live up to her and acquire grace in the eyes of that jealous old Puritan of a father of hers.
What rot.
Oh, no, it's not. But it's a sheer waste of time. A fellow like you's bound to break out now and again. You know, it's my opinion he's delighted at having an excuse for preventing Margaret from marrying you.
Yes, but why?
Well, he'd like to keep her for himself. Life will be very empty for him when she goes.
You know, he's doing his best to marry her off to John Fairley. She's been staying down at his place for almost 2 weeks.
But she's back in London now. I've got an invitation to dinner at her place tonight.
Yes, I know.
Well, you're going, aren't you?
I don't know.
What's the matter with you? She won't like it if you're not there.
Well, maybe her father is right. I may not turn out to be a very good sort of a husband.
Well, I'll be... Henry, what's come over you? When I went away, you were crazy over her.
I still am. But in the last few weeks, I've begun to think that perhaps I ought not to marry.
You mean on account of your work?
Well, principally.
Oh, I agree. Women can make the devil's own mess of one's plans. But personally, I think it would be a good thing if you got over Margaret.
Oh, you utter fool. I haven't got over Margaret. Can't you understand that it's because I think so much of her that I'm trying to keep away? If she's hurt because I don't come tonight, and John Fairley's there, mightn't that make her think better of him?
Well, of all the quixotic rubbish I ever heard...
You go ahead and marry a girl, whatever the outcome of it may be, wouldn't you?
Well, I hope it wouldn't be too horrible.
No, that's right. It wouldn't be. Someday you'll marry some pretty little empty-headed creature who'll sit at the foot of your dining table, fill the nursery with children, and think you're the last word in manly virtue and wisdom.
Oh, that's going too far, old chap.
But you'll be happy. Yes, you'll be happy. In your own way. But me, I'm afraid I'll never be.
Oh, now you're getting gloomy again. Time we left. Well, the sun's going behind those clouds anyhow. And if we're going to be in time for Margaret's dinner party...
I've told you I don't think I'll go.
Oh, nonsense. You're not going to give up like that. Come along and give John Fairley a run for his money. Anyhow, I'd love to see you do old Addison in the eye. I never could stand it. Hello? What's all that about?
Comes from that building over there. Have you got any idea what it is?
Oh, some sort of reformatory, isn't it?
That's right, so it is. By Jove, one of the prisoners must have escaped.
Yes. Look at the warders rushing out through the gates. I say, is that guns they've got? Hope they don't shoot this way.
Well, come along. Let's move off. They're bound to stop us and ask if we've seen anyone, and we'll be late enough getting back to town as it is.
Yes, I say, listen, Henry.
Why, there's someone coming this way.
In a hurry, too. Now, I wonder if...
Look, there he goes, behind those bushes. Look. Just over there. Good Lord, it's a woman.
Well, I'll be...
Mr. Henry, don't let them get me. I'll be somewhere.
Yeah, what's the matter with you? I say...
Hetty Wilson.
Wait. Oh, Henry. You.
I say, what? Good Lord. It's the girl from the music hall.
I'll be in a minute. And I have to go back into that place. I'll kill myself.
Here, quick. Into the boat. Get down on the floor. We'll cover you up with rugs. Quick. Help me, Hugh.
Oh, but I say, listen.
Don't argue. Help me cover her.
All right.
And pick up that basket. We've got to be out in the middle of the stream by the time they get here. Now, don't you move, Hetty, whatever happens.
I say, Henry, look, Hed, do you realize what you're doing?
Yes, I know. I'm helping a prisoner to evade the law. If you like, you can go and call those warders and tell them about it.
Oh, here, I say, don't be too hard, old man.
Oh, then pick up that basket. Help me push this boat out from the bank. Ready? 1, 2, 3, push. Now, Hetty, you lie down against those cushions, pull your hat over your eyes, and pretend to be asleep. I'll do any talking that may be necessary.
A nice, quiet afternoon in the country.
Look out. Look out, they've seen us.
Hello there.
Hello.
Where do you come from?
Lower Huntingdon.
What are you doing here?
Well, what do you think?
Stop that boat while I talk to you.
I'll do my best, but the current's pretty strong.
Then pull into the shore.
What for?
Because we're the police, and we're looking for a prisoner that's escaped from the reformatory. I'd like to search that boat.
Can he swim?
What's that got to do with it?
Well, he'd have to get us out of here.
That's right, Bert. We're wasting time. They're just a couple of top tarts for the afternoon. Let them go. Oh, you never know. What does a low little tough like Hetty Wilson be down with a pair of swells like that? Yeah, maybe you're right. All right, then. Off you go.
Sure you wouldn't like us to come and help?
Help? You? We got work to do. Come along, boys. Let's have a little fun.
Lie still, Hetty. Don't come out from under those rugs under any circumstances. Are you all right?
Yes.
I'm very tired of dozing here. Am I allowed to talk in my sleep?
It all depends what you want to say.
I just want to say that I may have had my moments in the Austrian Tyrol, but you go in for a form of excitement that's far, far beyond my humble scope.
Oh, don't jest, Hugh. This is serious.
Serious? Certainly is. Both of us might be struck off the rolls of the BMA for conduct improper to the dignity of our profession. Do you realize that?
I do.
And I'm expected to lie here and pretend to be asleep.
Well, you'll have to do more than that before we get Hetty hidden away.
Being a friend of yours certainly has its drawbacks.
But you are my friend, Hugh, aren't you?
Yes. Confound you. Now keep on with that rowing and let's get out of here as fast as we can. They only ordered a brass plate the day before yesterday, and I'll die of disappointment if I get the sack before I have a chance to hang it up.